think you're a rational decision maker. Think again. Right now, your brain is actively filtering reality, showing you only what it wants you to see. And the scariest part? You have no idea it's happening. Intelligence doesn't protect you from one of the most dangerous mental traps known to psychology. In fact, smarter people often fall harder for this bias because they're better at rationalizing their mistakes. Today, we're exposing the hidden mechanism that's been influencing your decisions since childhood. A cognitive bias so powerful that it shapes your relationships, your career choices, and even how you spend your money. By the end of this video, you will learn to catch yourself in the act of self-deception and develop practical strategies to make genuinely better decisions. Let's dive in. So what is this mysterious bias? It's called confirmation bias, and it's your brain's tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms what you already believe. Here's how it works. Imagine your brain as a lawyer rather than a judge. A judge weighs evidence objectively to reach a conclusion, but your brain often acts like a lawyer, starting with a conclusion and then searching for evidence to support it. This happens in 3 stages. First, selective search. You unconsciously gravitate toward sources that align with your existing beliefs. Second, biased interpretation. You interpret ambiguous information in a way that supports your views. Third, selective memory. You remember information that confirms your beliefs and forget what challenges them. Why would evolution give us such a flawed process? The answer is efficiency. Your brain processes millions of bits of information every second. Confirmation bias is a shortcut that helps you make quick decisions. But in today's complex world, this mental shortcut often leads us astray. Let's look at how confirmation bias plays out in real life. Example 1. The workplace. You hire someone you believe in. They make mistakes, but you see them as learning experiences. Now, imagine you hired someone you had doubts about. They make the exact same mistakes, but this time you see them as proof your doubts were correct. Same behavior. Completely different interpretations. Example 2. Relationships. You start dating someone new and you're convinced they're perfect. When they cancel plans, you think they must be busy. When they're short over text, you think they're stressed. But if you've decided someone isn't right for you, those same behaviors become red flags. Example 3. Financial decisions. You invest in a stock because you believe the company has potential. You obsessively read articles praising the company and ignore warnings. When the stock drops, you seek analysts who say it's temporary. When it rises slightly, you see it as vindication. This is how people lose fortunes. These examples show confirmation bias isn't about big debates. It's operating in your daily life, influencing dozens of decisions every single day. Now here's what makes this really frustrating. Smart people actually fall harder for confirmation bias. And there are specific reasons why. First, intelligence gives you better tools for rationalization. If you're smart, you're better at constructing logical-sounding arguments for whatever you want to believe. Psychologists call this motivated reasoning. Second, expertise makes you overconfident. When you know a lot about a topic, you believe you've seen all the relevant evidence. This confidence makes you less likely to seek out contradicting information. Third, smart people are better at creating echo chambers. They know how to find sources that align with their views. They curate their social media, choose their news sources, and surround themselves with like-minded people. Fourth, your beliefs become tied to your identity. If you've built your identity around believing something, then evidence against it becomes a threat to who you are. Here's a sobering fact. Studies show that people with higher scientific literacy are actually more polarized on certain issues than people with less education. Why? Because they use their knowledge to selectively interpret data in ways that support their views. The point isn't that intelligence is bad. The point is that intelligence alone doesn't save you from confirmation bias. Without deliberate strategies to counter it, intelligence can make it worse. So how do you fight something hardwired into your brain? Here are practical strategies you can start using today. Strategy 1. Actively seek out opposing views. If you believe something strongly, spend time reading the best arguments against your position. Ask yourself, what would someone who disagrees with me say? What evidence would change my mind? If your answer is, nothing could change my mind, that's a red flag. Strategy 2. Use the steelman technique. Build the strongest possible version of opposing arguments before you evaluate them. Take a position you disagree with and argue for it as convincingly as you can. This gives you a more accurate view of the full picture. Strategy 3. Create a decision journal. Before making important decisions, write down your reasoning and predictions. Then review your entries later. You'll be shocked at how often your predictions were wrong and how you reinterpreted the evidence to make yourself look right. Strategy 4. Use premortems. Before committing to a choice, imagine it's 1 year later and your decision was a disaster. Work backwards. What went wrong? What warning signs did you ignore? This forces you to consider failure scenarios you'd normally avoid. Strategy 5. Ask these 3 critical questions. Question 1. What would I need to see to prove this wrong? If you can't answer this, you're not holding a belief. You're holding a faith. Question 2. Am I seeking truth, or am I seeking to be right? Question 3. If my enemy believed this, would I still think the evidence supports it? Strategy 6. Embrace intellectual humility. Get comfortable saying, I don't know, I was wrong, or I need to think about that more. Practice updating your beliefs publicly. When you change your mind about something, explain what evidence convinced you. Strategy 7. Check your emotional reactions. Strong emotional responses are often a sign that confirmation bias is active. If reading something makes you immediately angry or defensive, pause. Ask yourself, am I reacting to the argument or to the threat it poses to my worldview? Let's bring this all together. Confirmation bias isn't something that happens to other people. It's happening to you right now. The question isn't whether you have confirmation bias. The question is whether you're going to do something about it. Your brain is designed this way, but just because something is natural doesn't mean you're stuck with it. You can't eliminate confirmation bias, but you can learn to recognize it and reduce its impact. Think about the decisions you're facing right now. A career choice, a relationship question, a financial investment. Now ask yourself, am I seeking truth or am I seeking confirmation? The smartest people aren't the ones who never fall for confirmation bias. The smartest people are the ones who catch themselves doing it and correct course. Starting today, commit to one thing. Maybe it's seeking out one article that challenges your views. Maybe it's asking someone to poke holes in a decision you're making. Maybe it's starting that decision journal. One small step toward intellectual honesty can compound into a completely different way of thinking over time. Your brain is powerful, but it's also predictable. Now that you know the game it's playing, you can start playing a different game. A game where you're not trying to be right. You're trying to get closer to what's actually true. And that makes all the difference.